Let's talk about the difference between love and attachment. Most people believe and confuse between that love and attachment are the same things, but they're not. Attachment is the concept I need you so I can feel safe. This is distinguished between love being I am an already whole person and I want you because you would be a tremendous addition to my life. So, in this video, I want to go over and unpack why those two often get confused, the definition of love and attachment, and more importantly, how to tell which one you're operating from, and some prompts you can ask yourself so you can get some more clarity. We'll talk about the biology of attachment, how we become attached, the psychology of confusion, how to facilitate love without attachment in your relationship, how to integrate all of these ideas and apply them into your particular situation, and turning attachment into love. Just to be clear, this is not about judging your attachment style. We all have attachment styles. It's about having some clarity and seeing how our biology and conditioning often turn love into dependence. And more importantly, how awareness of this, having clarity upon this, remember that clarity is enlightenment, can turn dependence back into choice. And remember that love has to be about choice. I'll make that very clear. So, what is the biology of attachment? Human beings are wired for attachment. We're social creatures and we develop attachment styles as we begin to recognize how we operate in the world. It's a survival mechanism. Keep that in mind that attachment is a survival mechanism. This means that it operates from your primal brain, of which most of us are not conscious. They operate in the background just like you're breathing. You don't think about your breathing, you're just doing it. It's a survival mechanism. Our early attachment style or preference, whether that's secure, anxious, avoidant, or disorganized attachment, we talk a lot about that in the final chapters of this book, OLNE, ultimately forms the blueprint in which we seek love as adults. What happens is that when you meet someone new whom you feel a gravitation towards, a feeling of desire towards, you don't just feel desire and attraction, your body scans for safety signals. Remember what we talked about earlier? This is a biological mechanism for survival. This operates without you knowing. So, depending on how you have preferred or have styled your attachment based on your upbringing, will determine the hormones your body produces as you are interfacing with this person. What ends up occurring is that we confuse bonding hormones like oxytocin and dopamine and the feeling of security. We confuse those things for the idea of love, and I'll show you why. But the thing that happens with these hormones is your hormones measure attachment success, not love potential. As a result, what happens is that because we cannot put into words, well, most of us who haven't had relationship intelligence, which is a term coined in the book OLNE, relationship intelligence is the recognition and clarity about all these things we're talking about. Someone who doesn't have that knowledge, that clarity, confuses because there are no words they can put into these feelings and sensations. Ultimately, the words that they can put is, I feel a desire or gravitation towards you. I don't know why, what it is. I feel like I know you. I feel like we've known each other for so long. For whatever reason, I'm attracted to you. I love you. As an outcome of this lack of clarity, you make silly decisions without looking into maladaptive behaviors and red flags, and you go right into a relationship, sometimes perpetuating the terrible relationship dynamics that you've had in the past. Sound familiar? So, this I love you often means, when it comes to attachment language, I feel regulated by you. My nervous system feels regulated by you. I'll show you why, and maybe you can see it now, why this is dangerous. Let's talk about the psychology of confusion, why we confuse these things. The reason why attachment is confused with love is because both simultaneously or both have the same things going for them, the same sensations and feelings that have going for them, such as closeness, warmth, vulnerability, both have these sensations so they can be interconnected and confused. But here's the key you have to realize. Attachment depends on reassurance. Love depends on freedom. I'll explain to you what that means in a bit. How you can initially tell is when your partner distance themselves to you, when their distance makes you panic or anxious, that's attachment fear. It's not that love is failing. That's why we say when you feel jealousy, the compound emotion of fear of loss, and the rage you feel from that fear of loss, when you feel that, describe where that fear is coming from to resolve it. What ends up happening is that many relationships collapse because we think and mistake anxiety as losing the chemistry or losing the spark. In reality, love hasn't gone anywhere. You can never really lose love for someone unless they become someone else. Most people mistake that the opposite of love is hate. The opposite of love is not hate. Hate, hate is just the same emotional investment as love reserved for people who suck. The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. When you have apathy or lack thereof, you no longer have investment of your emotion for that person. So when you feel that anxiety, it's not that you have lost your love, it's because an attachment wound, emotional injury based on your conditioning and upbringing have just been touched. So let's now go over why love without possession is important. Real love allows for space because real love requires options to be present. Attachment is ultimately your body and your mind telling you that person must stay so that I don't feel the void. They are filling ultimately for me what's missing. The idea of love is I want you to have options. Go if you must. Don't worry about me. I would rather you be free than stay out of fear. Morality goes further as saying that people don't want someone who is incomplete. People want someone who is complete and would love to relate with them. Don't go looking for your other half. Be a whole person. Furthermore, the book goes over very clearly that if someone is staying with you because they have no other option, you can never have the gratifying sensation that they're with you because they want to be. They're with you because they're obligated to be. They're in the same bed with you because it's the only bed. So you don't get that gratifying appreciation. And in fact, you can't unless they actually have options. So in an open style format of relationship, this delineation becomes incredibly vital. The important reason why open relationships is a critical consideration for you is because it removes the thing that maintains a relationship, which for most people is obligation. And the relationship ultimately is based strictly on each person's choosing to be in that relationship because the relationship merits its existence. The delineation that open relationships make is that love thrives, expands with options. And with freedom for those options to be pursued, attachment, on the other hand, thrives on control. Do you see where this could be tremendously problematic? If you try to keep someone by restricting them, the love dies in the cage in which you built. Ironically, the cage in which you built to protect it. True love, because options are available, coexists with non-exclusivity because it allows for choice. It's not based on ownership and obligation for the relationship to be maintained, but on appreciation of each individual. Appreciation is so important. It's the thing that most people do not get. In fact, there's a saying that I used to say, babies cry for it, men die for it. What is it? It's recognition. It's appreciation. So now how do you integrate it? How do you integrate it into your relationship and turn consciously attachment into love? Step one is you have to be clear and name the fear. Put the fear into words because naming the fear removes the shame from it. When you appreciate that it's merely your biology and your hormones producing these chemicals because of things which you have no control, perhaps your upbringing and conditioning, you no longer feel shame. And in fact, you'll know what to do and the steps to take. For example, it could sound like this: I feel anxious when I can't reach you. Or if you follow the OFNR model, talked about in the book OLNE, whenever I feel anxious, disregard, let me think about that. Whenever I can't reach you, I feel anxious. Observe feeling. Step two is self regulate first. Don't reach for reassurance immediately. The first thing you do before you begin communicating actually is self regulation. Take a deep breath. In fact, you can go so far because we all have different styles of attachment and we all have different sensations of what makes us secure. Some people develop an amygdala where their fear response is prolonged and their secure response are shortened. And this is unfortunate and tragic and results in things like BPD or a disorder where they create tremendous fear of loss. And they fall into that spectrum of disorders. So you'll regulate differently. So we talk about self-regulation in this book. One thing you can do is do 6 deep breaths in fast succession and 4 out exhaling breaths that are slower and more prolonged. This alternates and breaks the state in which your body is in. Use grounding techniques and come back to regulated center. Step number 3 is choose your connection consciously. When you communicate and reach out to your partner or to your beloved, reach out from love, not fear. This is where self regulation comes in. And this could sound like this: I miss you, baby, and I would like to reconnect. Step 4, the final step, is I want you to redefine security for you. Don't equate security to presence. Security is not about presence. It's your trust in the connection that you have with them, whether or not they're right beside you. This is where they say communication is key, and we talk about how to communicate. So, to recap, attachment is not the enemy. Attachment style is something we all have based on our upbringing in which we had to consciously and clearly work with and work through. Recognizing and being clear about what your attachment is and putting them into words, having relationship intelligence, which the book highlights, is just the beginning, a doorway to a great relationship. It's how we can start to love and feel desire and gravitate towards people, but it's not what sustains a relationship. It's not what creates the love that you have for that person. In fact, it can create maladaptive behaviors with lack of clarity. When you stop needing, quote unquote, needing love to feel secure, every connection becomes a gift without requiring a guarantee. Requiring a guarantee of love is an oxymoron. It's a tremendous burden. So here's what I want you to ask yourself this week: am I loving to connect or am I attaching to control? One leads to expansion and growing your love and sustaining your love. The other one leads to fear and a deterioration of your relationship. Hope you enjoy that. I encourage you to go order the book on Amazon. It's a tremendous, an amazing read. One of the, I believe, the greatest book written on relationships and personal development. In fact, in the middle of the book, it talks about enlightenment, my favorite part. If you have any questions, send me a message or leave a comment below. Share this video with other people. You're making the world a better place for all of us.